it's very, very important that for all economies is that the lockdown at some stage would come to an end in the short term rather than longer term. Obviously, for any economy, the longer term this lockdown continues, the greater the infrastructural damage to any economy. So you can see in Europe some examples of smaller companies being allowed to reopen. I think in the Emirates probably have got this right compared to the rest of the region in testing its population. Egypt's much more difficult to do given the size of the country in terms of the population. But I think that it would be the length of this issue of how long this pandemic continues, not just within Egypt or the region, but globally too, so that it can be a resumption in time of tourism and remittances.
Right. Of course, the IMF report, for instance, makes for some ugly reading when you look across the region. Saudi Arabia seen shrinking by 2.3%, the UAE 3.5%, Qatar 4.3%, and of course Lebanon 12%. We know that Lebanon has a number of domestic issues at play there, but really the dual shock of COVID-19 and the oil price decline hitting a number of these MENA regions. What is it more? Is it the oil decline or is it COVID-19?
It's both. You've got the double whammy, as the IMF rightly points out. It's the double whammy of falling oil prices, which you've now seen for about 2 months or more, and the fact that the pandemic itself. Combined, it's incredibly significant for this region. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, particularly in Qatar, helped by the sovereign wealth funds that could help to intervene in the emergency to help fund government spending. Other countries, as you just mentioned, Lebanon, with a massive unraveling, it would take a program in itself to really discuss Lebanon, but very significant shock. We'll find it quite difficult to recover in the short to medium term at all. Jordan has had a good response, I think, fiscally in terms of the lockdown too, but and North Africa, mixed picture, particularly in Algeria, which is more negative, Morocco doing slightly better. So I think the IMF has been right to pick this up. It's the double whammy of the hit. Remittance movements is going to be bad news for Lebanon, Jordan, Morocco, to an extent Egypt too. So it really calls for governments having to be awake, to be creative, to come up with new ideas, because quite frankly, a lot of the expectations that governments have had for growth that we've seen now for the last few years is really turned around, and we really need some new ideas to help push economic growth. Better transparency too, which I think the World Bank and the IMF have been pushing, which I discussed myself at university in terms of corporate governance. Transparency is important, but new ideas also vital to be able to restart and kickstart the economies of this region.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.